One of the biggest conversations that we keep hearing about involving junior hockey is the uncertainty following the NCAA decision last year, where CHL players can now move on to the NCAA. And we've been seeing articles posted about why players choose to go off to the college ranks. And a lot of the times we're hearing about the facilities that a lot of these college and universities provide, be it the arenas or the off ice practice facilities, the weight rooms, just a lot of the amenities which are geared towards the players. And with that, obviously, the Canadian Hockey League now having to pivot a little bit to try and become more attractive for junior age players to want to stay in their programs. And I think that's going to be a big thing here if the Canadian Hockey League is going to succeed in keeping a lot of the top end talent or trying to find reasons to attract more talent to join the ranks, steps are going to have to be taken to improve facilities. And it's going to come down from the leagues, the owners, management, the coaching staff. You have to give a reason for these players to want to stay with your program going forward. And the OHL announced today steps to enhance uh, the player experience. And a lot of these initiatives apparently going to start here in the 25-26 season, which gets underway in about 2 weeks' time. This is what they're listing. This is what the Ontario Hockey League plans to do to improve the player experience. They say that there will become a weekly player access to expanded suite of medical and therapy services. So we're seeing a lot of more opportunities for players to get treatments or management during the regular season is what they're talking about. Strength and conditioning coaches will work with teams daily, both in and out of season. So this is where we'll see probably more of a focus on off-season training, which is, in all honesty, if you're going to become a professional athlete, this is some important stuff for a player going forward. They're also saying team nutritionists will be working with players, billets, and teams, establishing comprehensive meal plans, including post-game, both at home and on the road. So more of an emphasis on nutrition. And you already see that with a few players who take nutrition very seriously. I'm thinking of a player like Cole Bodwin of the Barrie Colts, for example. Like, he is probably one of the more intense players that I've met when it comes to nutrition, which nothing wrong with that. If that's what's going to give you that edge or that advantage, you go on that. That's your strategy. And it's good to see that the OHL taking a little more of a focus on that. They say they're also implementing a league-wide data and performance collection system to capture player performance analytics, which I wonder if they'll share that with the media. I think that would be quite fascinating if we can get some more performance analytics to share. You see that with the NHL, especially these last few years, where they share more analytics. So I think that'd be good for the OHL as well. They also say they're going to establish a league-wide minimum travel and accommodation standards. So that one's interesting because obviously with the Ontario Hockey League, you travel by bus a lot to get to your games, especially if you're playing a 3-game road trip. So 3 games of 4 days. We'll see what that all entails. I'm wondering if that's going to be maybe for 26, 27, but this is what the OHL says they're going to be doing. There's also going to be an enhanced billet standards and support. So obviously with OHL players, when you're not playing in your hometown, typically you stay with a billet family. That's tradition. That's been going on for decades when it comes to the OHL. So obviously more supports for the billets. I think that would go a long way. And they also say there's going to be enhanced off-season training support. So all of these positions, I think, are in response to what's happening with players going off to the NCAA. I think this is a good step for the OHL to acknowledge that these are areas of focus to improve player amenities throughout the Ontario Hockey League. But it's one thing for the OHL, I think, to say it, but I think this also comes down to each team that they'll also have to start implementing things. We've seen it with some organizations already during the offseason. The Kitchener Rangers come to mind. They just put thousands of dollars into improving amenities with their organization at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. I know the London Knights have also put money into improving their dressing rooms, the Oshawa Generals as well. So it comes down to the teams individually as well. And this is where it's going to probably get a little more expensive, I think, for teams to operate in the Ontario Hockey League if they want to, be competitive and show players why they should stay in the OHL instead of leaving for the NCAA. So I think this is a good first step. The OHL acknowledging that this needs to be done. And also with the construction of new facilities. We know we've got a new arena on the way in Brantford and also in Sudbury. There's talk about a new arena on the way for Peterborough. Ottawa is getting a new arena. So with these new facilities and new amenities, that'll encourage more players to want to join those programs. Because we've heard that in the past where certain players don't want to report to certain teams because of amenities. So it's going to be a big effort, and I think this is just the first step of many for the OHL and its teams to find ways to contribute to a player's decision to want to play for a team in the Ontario Hockey League. So I thought it was interesting. The OHL announced that this morning, that they're putting more of a priority on player experience over these next few seasons. And I'm sure we're going to hear more from the OHL and the Canadian Hockey League as this whole transition of junior hockey continues over these next few seasons. Now, yesterday, there was a trade involving the Niagara IceDogs and the London Knights. I almost feel like I could do a video just talking about all the trades that have happened in the last few years between these two teams. They've got a bond when it comes to trades. And this latest one sees Liam Spencer traded to Niagara for Guelph's 6th-round pick in 2026. Now, for the Niagara IceDogs, when I did their season preview video, I talked about how offensively this team is solid. Defensively and goaltending, that's where the question marks are. So it's good to see that Niagara taking steps to address their defensive needs. And for Liam Spencer, last year played 35 games with the London Knights, only registered 2 assists. And for Spencer, still looking for his first career OHL goal. He's played 47 OHL games since 2022-23 when he broke into the league with the Mississauga Steelheads. But what Spencer brings for Niagara is going to be size on the blue line. He stands 6'5", 220 pounds. So he's a bigger defenseman, and he'll play that shutdown role for Niagara. And for Spencer, he's also been around an organization with the London Knights that have won championships and Memorial Cups. So the Niagara IceDogs, hoping that his experience with the London Knights organization will translate into stronger defense and potentially leading by example, showing what it takes to be one of the top teams in the Ontario Hockey League. So obviously Spencer's not going to wow you with the points, but it's what he brings defensively. I think that's what the IceDogs are looking for. And I think that's a good step for this team, that he'll probably be second or third pairing for the Niagara IceDogs this season, but still you want to have those shutdown defensemen. And that's what they're looking for here with Liam Spencer coming over. Now, there's also been a couple of signings. One signing that stands out, the Guelph Storm. They've signed Zach Naish. He was a 6th-round pick in the 2025 OHL priority selection. He's 6'7" and 208 pounds. He's a defenseman. So Naish, I think, is going to be a long-term project for this Guelph Storm team. Remember, they've put in a bid to host the 2027 Memorial Cup. So if Naish can figure out his game, I don't think he's going to wow you with the points. In 32 regular season games last year with the North Shore Whitecaps U16 AAA, 3 goals, 7 assists. So he's not an offensively minded defenseman, but with that kind of size, you don't really expect him to contribute offensively. He's a shutdown defenseman, and it'll be great to see what he can bring for the Guelph Storm going forward. Other signings include the Sioux Greyhounds. They've signed Quinn McKenzie. He is from Pennsylvania, and he played 1 season with the Shattuck St. Mary's 18U prep team, which won the national championship last year. And he was a key player for that team. He's 5'9", and he put up 26 goals, 67 assists, good for 93 points, and just 58 regular season games. So McKenzie winning that national title last year, now coming to the Greyhounds program. We'll see how that translates now coming up to the OHL level. So I think this is a good signing for a Greyhounds team that's looking to stay competitive in the Western Conference, maybe take that next step after last year where they found themselves closer to the bottom of the Western Conference standings. And one last signing to talk about, the Kingston Frontenacs have signed Royden Smith. He's a goaltender. He played for the Toronto Marlboros last season. In 20 appearances, a 10-9 record, 2.45 goals against. But he's a pretty big goaltender, 6'2", 178 pounds. So he's a project for the future for the Frontenacs, but getting that signing now, maybe he can get some playing time with the Frontenacs during the regular season. If not this year, then definitely the following season. So Kingston looking towards their future with this signing of Royden Smith. So that's how I see it from the booth with these news items. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and you can always comment down below your thoughts on any of these news items. And yeah, we'll talk to you again soon.